The year was 2003. I was a kid watching my second season of NASCAR, and whether I realized it or not, Matt Kenseth was teaching me a very important life lesson. You don't have to dominate the competition every single day, but if you show up ready to perform every day and show unmatched consistency, then you will be successful in life. Kenseth actually locked up the championship a week early that year, which wasn't exactly a rarity in NASCAR at the time. But what made it different was the fact that unlike other champions, Kenseth didn't demolish the field on a weekly basis. He actually only won a single race that year, and it came in the third race of a 36-race schedule. So no one had seen Matt Kenseth in victory lane for 8 months, and suddenly he's raising the championship trophy? Seems kinda weird, right? Well, if you think that champions should be dominant every week and be throwing up huge win totals, then sure, but I'm gonna disagree with you there. My attitude wouldn't win this battle, though, and with Nextel coming in as the series title sponsor in 2004, the time was perfect to make drastic changes. We'll get into the downward spiral that has led us to the current state of NASCAR's playoff system and my newfound love for IndyCar in just a minute, but first, a while back I made a joke about wanting my channel be 1% as successful as my high school friend's channel. And I've realized that if just 10% of the people who have viewed my channel in the last 3 months hit subscribe, then that dream could come true. So please consider being part of the 10% of people who click the subscribe button. It's free and it really helps me out a lot. In 2004, we got the chase for the Cup, and admittedly, at first it was pretty good. The top 10 in points after 26 races would be bunched back together, and those 10 drivers would compete for the championship over the last 10 races. We had a Game 7 walk-off moment when Jeremy Mayfield won in Richmond to put himself into the chase, and we had 5 drivers still in contention for the championship in the finale. You could argue that Jimmy Johnson or Jeff Gordon was more deserving of the championship that year, based off of the old system, but I did go back and rewatch the 2004 finale a while back, and it was a really entertaining race to watch, and Kurt Busch really put together a championship performance, including an epic comeback after losing a wheel coming into pit road. So, success, right? Well, for a few years. In 2007, the chase field would be expanded to 12 drivers. Okay, 12 still isn't a lot. Then in 2011, those last 2 spots became wildcard spots, going to the drivers with the most wins, who were between 11th and 20th in points. Again, okay. But then 2014 came, and the whole system got redone again. Now there would be a true playoff system with 16 drivers and 4 rounds, and a winner-take-all finale, and wait, what? 16 drivers? That's like half of the full-time drivers. So you don't need to be elite, you just need to be in the top 50%. At least in the chase era, if you were in the chase, you were in the top 10 drivers that year, and you could argue you were fairly elite. And now all you have to do is win a single race and it basically guarantees you a spot in the playoffs? What happened to consistency? Still, there's always been some guys who have ended up getting in on consistency alone without winning a race, and some of them have managed to go pretty far into the playoffs. Then there's this year, and it appears that we will have at least 16 winners at this point. So, consistency be damned. No one is getting in on points this year. I will admit, yes, I am a Martin Truex fan, and I am a little upset that he's now on the outside looking in, but that's not the point. Truex is 4th in points. Ryan Blaney, who is 2nd in points, is somehow looking over his shoulder. Next week, we're off to Richmond, a place where Truex is very good, and he'll probably be the favorite to win. If he does win, then suddenly Ryan Blaney is 2nd in points and somehow on the outside looking in. That's just wrong. Blaney and Truex may not have found victory lane this year, but they've put together significantly better seasons than guys who are currently in the playoffs like Chase Briscoe and Austin Cindric. I actually really like both Briscoe and Cindric, but let's be honest, they're not putting together championship seasons. Ultimately, I don't think that playoffs belong in racing at all. The issue that NASCAR is running into is that they're artificially creating drama in a way that's unnatural for motorsports. The reason why the winner-take-all finale in Formula 1 last year was so special was because it happened naturally. It wasn't forced. Over the past year, I've actually become a really big fan of IndyCar, and I think one of the big reasons why is because their point system is basically the same as the point system that NASCAR used to have. And they have an amazing 5-way battle for the championship right now with just 3 races to go, and none of the drama is artificially created by a convoluted playoff system. And guess what? There were multiple drivers still mathematically in contention for the IndyCar championship going into last year's finale. Yes, Alex Palou had a point lead going in, but we still didn't know if he was going to be able to get the finish that he needed to win. If you're an old school NASCAR fan who can get over the fact that the majority of IndyCar's schedule is made up of road courses, then frankly, you really should start paying attention to IndyCar. It's been a lot of fun for me to get into. NASCAR wants more Game 7 walk-off win moments, but unfortunately those are rare in racing. However, it's their rarity that makes them so much more special, and when you artificially create them every year, they start to become not very special at all. The popularity of NASCAR was on the rise in the early 2000s, and then it crashed. There were a lot of reasons for that, but one that I don't think gets enough attention is that NASCAR started trying to become something that it's not. They tried making changes in areas that didn't need changing, and initially they had some good effects, but those effects started to wear off, so they made more changes, and then more, and then more. And each time things got worse. Well, it's time to admit it. We've gone too far. Had NASCAR learned the lesson of Matt Kenseth that quiet consistency would lead to ultimate success, then who knows what the state of NASCAR would be today. I would argue that it would probably be in a much better place than it is today. In the end, I don't think that there's any going back to the old Winston Cup point system. We've gone too far. But if NASCAR wants to start making things right and having a more meaningful playoff, then I suggest a compromise. Go back to the original top 10 in points chase format. It wasn't the Winston Cup points system, but it was fun and it was filled with the elite drivers. I'm sorry, I don't care if you've won a race or two. If you aren't in the top 10 in points after 26 races, then you're not putting together a championship caliber season. Focus on ending the year strong and building up to a championship run next year. Since the dawn of the playoff era, I'd say we're about 50-50 on whether or not the most deserving driver has won the championship. During the chase era, I think we were a little bit better than that. But before the chase era, we were 100% sure that the right driver was winning the championship. I missed that. Anyway, that's what I've got for today. Please let me know what you think in the comments, like the video, and subscribe. Also, follow me on Twitter. I've been trying to be a little bit more active on there for the channel too. Thanks so much for watching, and have a great day.